Shaking my friends, welcome back to the channel. Today's the start of a new reading vlog. It's July the 1st. I wanted to vlog SPFBO 9 Summer, which is the readathon that's going on over in the Keymark Discord that is really focusing on SPFBO 9 contestants. So I thought since I'm doing the first chapter reads on my channel that I would vlog this experience. So the first book that I chose to pick up is Daughter of the Beast by E.C. Greaves. Now, I'm starting this vlog. I have not gotten very far in. I'm like 3 chapters and I had already read the first chapter. So now I've read the first chapter twice and I've read 2 additional chapters. I am still liking it. I don't have much to say because I'm not that far in. But girl has been kidnapped. Her village has been burnt down and destroyed and she has been kidnapped by these people, and at this point they're trying to escape their prison. She has met some other folks and they're trying to escape. So that's where we are. I'm gonna keep reading and I will let you guys know what I think the farther I get into this. Okay friends, so it is now Monday, which is July the 3rd, and I have been struggling a little bit, and the reason for that is because I am not used to reading physical books. I generally always have an audio, and sometimes I think that hinders me because I used to be not an audio reader. I used to read it just physically, and I used to read a fairly big amount when I read physically, and then I had a hard time getting into audiobook because my brain would drift off while I was trying to listen. Then I figured out how to do it. I trained my brain to listen to audiobooks and I enjoyed myself. And then I got into the habit of, well, I'm listening to this audiobook and I'm doing something else with my hands. I'm doing cleaning, whatever it may be that I'm doing. And now when I try to read physically, I get kind of ADD that way because I'm like, oh, well, I'm supposed to be doing something else while I'm reading. So I have not been as successful reading this book physically, and that's going to be Daughter of the Beast. Not that this is a bad book by any means. It's just taking me a little bit longer because my brain just can't sit still and devour the story like I would if I had an audiobook. So I'm about 30% in it and I am enjoying myself. I'm not quite sure where we are going at this point in time, but I'm intrigued to find out. Our main character, she is like 11 years old when she gets taken by these beast people. Her village is burned. She's not sure what has become of her actual family, but she is taken by the enemies, the beasts. And she is basically, they're raising her up in their own culture and she's learning things. They're training her to, the back says, to be a killer. So I'm interested to see, you know, like it feels like it's going to be kind of like a coming of age story. I think the other books in the trilogy are going to be her way older. So kind of getting raised up behind enemy lines and figuring out that maybe the beasts are not the enemy. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if that's where we're heading, but I am enjoying my time with this. I'm enjoying the main character and getting to kind of know her. I'm intrigued to continue to see where this goes. So because I'm so much of an audio listener, I of course had to clean on Sunday and I wanted to listen to an audiobook. So I picked up Fourth Wing because it was the only one that was available for audio at my library that I pulled out of my TBR jars. So of course I'm intrigued to, you know, see what the hype is about Fourth Wing. I am a little over 20% in and I have already passed the scene where, you know, she says hot, extra hot, whatever, flamingly, whatever hot that everybody talks about. My thoughts on Fourth Wing are this. Obviously, we have this girl. She's going to this training academy, this deadly dragon rider training academy, and you could die because it's very deadly. And her mother is basically making her do this. I think that, you know, this is very much the way the characters act, very much YA. 100% YA, and I think it's too YA, and then you're trying to like make it new adult, but it doesn't, the characters don't act that age. So it's kind of a miscommunication there with me with the age group that they're supposed to be, because obviously not all of these characters at their age are going to be so immature. So it's definitely aged down with sexual content. So yes, these characters are of age, but they do not act like it, if that makes any sense. I haven't really formed my full thoughts on this, I think it has valid criticisms, but again, I also think some of the valid criticisms are because, to me, the characters are YA. So if you don't read YA, then this is definitely not going to be for you. You should not pick this up, because I feel like I said, it should be in the YA category, but unfortunately it has steamy scenes in it, and she's aged up the characters, but they don't act the way that they should. So I'm going to continue to read both of these books, hoping to get a pretty good sized chunk of the way through this over the 4th of July holiday, because I do not have to work, and hopefully I will continue to enjoy at least Daughter of the Beasts. Okay, so let's chitty chat. It's now Wednesday. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. Of course, I am holding up Daughter of the Beast. So I am now like 220 pages into this, and I'm still really, really enjoying my time. So the book has gone in the direction that I thought that it would, and we're kind of getting a lot of what it's like to be behind enemy lines, and does it change the way that you feel about certain things. I'm liking the main character. I'm still liking like the world. We're getting a little bit more of the world now. Just kind of growing with her as a person, and I love coming of age stories, so I think that this is a great one. I am continuing to enjoy it, and I'm hoping to finish tomorrow. So far I can recommend this book from what I've read. Let's go ahead and talk about Fourth Wing. I'm a little over 50% in to this. I was able to listen to a lot of this yesterday because I was cleaning. So I'm listening to that. That is my audiobook for when I'm doing other things. And so my thoughts on Fourth Wing is it's really just not doing anything new. I can understand why people like it, and I can understand why people don't like it. So if you're like one of those people that really just likes fantasy romance, but heavy on the romance, and doesn't really care if your fantasy really makes sense, then this would probably be right up your alley. If you're a person that has to have a great world building and a world that makes sense, this is probably gonna irk you to no end. So I don't really particularly like our main character, and the reason why is it does the same thing that most YA fantasies do. We have her, she's a character that is originally going to go be a scribe, be like the brains of this operation, does not want to go into this death dragon thing school. And of course, at last minute, her mama says, no, you have to do this. So she is in school with people that have trained to do these things, has, like, this is going to be their life. Like, they've trained to do these kinds of things and do these kind of hard tasks and hard, physical challenges. But here's this girl. And of course, she's never trained in this. She doesn't like to do it. And she's going to be the best out of everybody there. And that irks me to no end. Like, if somebody's going to be the best, like, there has to be some kind of explanation as to why you have these characters over here that have trained their entire, life to do these things, and they're being bested by this girl over here who has no inkling, no training, no physical, aspects that would endear her to be the top. And so, like, that bugs me in fantasy. So there has to be some kind of thing. And not to mention, no time has passed and she's the best of the best. And I could understand in a fantasy romance how that's fine. That's fine because you're there for the romance and not the fantasy. But for me, as a fantasy reader, I do not like that at all. So I'm going to continue to read this book and kind of tell you my thoughts. I liken it to like an ACOTAR kind of book, kind of romance. I also don't like ACOTAR by Sarah J Maas. It is like one of the biggest romanticises out there, and I don't like it. So I don't know why. I thought, let's read Fourth Wing because everybody and their mama is loving Fourth Wing. And the people that I've seen epic fantasy readers read Fourth Wing and really say that they can't believe that they enjoyed it this much. But that's not the experience that I am having. I 100% understand, like I said, why people like it. I understand why people hate it. I'm kind of right there in the middle of that category. So if the main character doesn't grow on me sometime soon, I may go ahead and DNF the book. And so we'll kind of see how things continue to go with that. But I'm going to go and I'm going to read some more Daughter of the Beast to get some farther into this and hopefully have it finished up by tomorrow. Okay, so it is a lot later from when I last updated, but I felt like I had to come in here and finish up this vlog, even though I did finish Daughter of the Beast and Fourth Wing. And I didn't vlog it because, as you can see, I am burnt to a crisp. I got burnt to a crisp. I went to the water park with my family and there was just no shelter anywhere, and I am pale. I do not tan. I do not anything. And so I got very burnt, like very burnt. And so I was like, no, I cannot get on camera like this. But I'm still like this, but it's a lot better than what it was because it is Wednesday and this happened on Saturday. But I wanted to go ahead and tell you guys what I felt about the 2 books that I finished. So one is Daughter of the Beast by E.C. Greaves. Number one, I just want to congratulate myself because this is the first book that I have read with my eyes only in 2 years, at least. Maybe more than that. But I absolutely loved it. I loved it so much that I have purchased the second book, which is Sister of the Dead. Beautiful cover, by the way. And I feel like this book has reignited my love for indie fantasy and self-pub fantasy. I just adored this book. I ended up really liking the characters in here. I really liked the journey that they went on as far as kind of discovering themselves. I loved the found family. I just loved every aspect of this book, and there was never a point, you know, there was a little bit of slowness in the beginning, but there was never a point where I felt like, hey, I'm just not having a good time with this book. This book was entertaining all the way through. It had great character work. It had a great plot, great story. I'm gonna continue on to book 2. I immediately brought book 2 because I need to know what happens with our found family. So this does have a found family trope, which is fantastic. I love that. And behind enemy lines and all this kind of stuff. Just some of my favorite tropes, and I really, really enjoyed this book. And I implore you to pick it up and give it a try. Anyway, I gave this book 4 stars, if I did not say. And then I did end up finishing Fourth Wing. So I know at the last time that I spoke, I was thinking about DNFing the book if the main character did not grow on me. She did grow on me somewhat. I ended up giving it 3 stars. Yes! Oh my gosh, somebody gave Fourth Wings 3 stars. But I feel like overall, like once we hit past the 50% mark, a little bit past the 50% mark, I felt like the story really got better. And of course you had the spicy times in there, which was fine. But I feel like the story overall got better and the main character grew on me a little bit. However, it wasn't enough to really redeem the full book for me. I did give it 3 stars. I can't talk more about it because I would spoil things and I don't want to do that. But overall, again, my main problems with this book is just like it's not bringing anything new to the table. I really honestly do not understand the hype for this book, but congratulations to Rebecca Yarros. And Rebecca Yarros is an author that I've wanted to read for quite some time because I can't remember the book that everybody talks about that she wrote that makes people sob and cry to death. And why would you want to read a book like that? Me, I want to read it. I don't know. The Lost Letter, something about a letter. Last letter, I can't remember what it is, but it's like a military kind of thing. Obviously, there's going to be some death, and I'm going to be sad. But I still want to read it because she is, what I hear, a really good romance writer. Romance author. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this vlog up because I have actually started reading some more things, so I will start a new vlog later, but I'm just really excited and elated because of this new love that I have for self-published indie fantasy and just kind of reignited my love for this. And of course, I've read self-published and indie before, but never have I ever felt like this when I'm reading. And also, I think I have reignited my love for reading a book physically, which also, to me, I found that I think it enhanced my enjoyment. Not that I don't like audio, but sometimes when you're listening to audio, your brain can kind of go off in different places. And so I think that because I was 100% focused on just reading the book when I was reading the book and I couldn't think about anything else, that it enhanced my experience. So anyway, highly recommend Daughter of the Beast. I wish all the luck in the world to E.C. Greaves in SPFBO 9 competition. I will catch you guys in the next vlog.